I show you something. We discuss some more. So I kind of wanted to play around with some of these instructional tools tonight with some of this technology. I don't know if there's anybody who's new to the Next Gen Teachers group for January 2024, or if it's all returning teacher trainers. But if you don't know me, now you do. My name is Katie Miller. I'm an English language fellow working with Lingua this year. Originally from New Jersey, been living in Maryland, not far from Washington, D.C. for the past 16 years. And I'm really excited to talk about technology tonight. Personally, this was always my weakest point as a teacher. Because when I started teaching 17 years ago, I had no technology. We didn't have smartphones like we do now. I had a chalkboard. That was the extent of my teaching materials. I had the chalkboard and I had books. And so, it worked. It worked fine. And then, I realized that other schools and other places had more tools for them to use for instruction. And when I finally found myself teaching in a place that had these tools, I was so excited. And now that it's 2024 and all of my students have this little thing, there's even more possibilities. And so I feel like adding technology, adding these digital tools to instruction is kind of like just adding a little bit more flavor to a dish that you have already created and crafted. So it's not something where you say, oh, throw out the textbooks. We're doing everything online, everything in an app. Like, no, it's also not what some people think it is. We don't need teachers. Just put the students on the computer and they'll learn English. And that's also not true. We do need interaction. We need, communication. We need two-way interaction. And so everything that I'm going to show you tonight are things that I can personally say I have used, except for one thing, because it's a new thing that I just found out about like a month ago, and I haven't had the chance to use it yet. Excuse me. So let me go ahead and get started with sharing the screen. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to run this as a Pear Deck. Pear Deck is one of the tools that I'll give you some time to explore, but it's also the way that I'm going to do the presentation. So from your device, whether it's a phone or a computer, you're going to go to joinpd.com, and I'm going to share a code with you to join my session. So basically, I'm going to be showing you my slides, but you're joining my session in Pear Deck so you can interact with the slides a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. I have like 50 things open on my computer, and I'm just making sure I'm clicking on the right windows. Okay, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Okay. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. If you've used Pear Deck before, great, you know what to do. If you don't, you're going to go to this website, joinpd.com. And then you're going to put in this code, QTOTWP, quick turnips, openly turned warm pears. I don't know. It's a little stupid thing they make up with the code. So you're going to go to joinpd.com. And you're going to put in the code QTOTWP. You don't need to put a space. They just break it 3 letters, so it's easier to see. So, oh, look at that. 2 students have connected. So as people are joining, the number's going to go up and up and up. And what's going to happen is as I go through the slides, I'm going to be asking you questions, just like I would if I was face to face. And instead of you doing a think, pair, share, or a turn and talk, you're going to be responding with your device. So it's a way for me to do some quick formative assessment or some check-ins, or just get students engaged, because they're going to manipulate something on their device. They're going to answer a question. And I'm going to show you a few different question types. And you'll have more time later to explore this on your own. There are other websites or apps that are very, very similar to Pear Deck. Pear Deck is the one I'm most familiar with, that I use the most. But I'm going to show you others too. Don't worry. All right. So you're going to joinpd.com, joinpeardeck.com, and you're putting in the code. And if you're unable to join on your device, that's okay. You're still going to see what we're doing. I have 11 students connected. I'm going to wait just another minute before I start, because I know it takes a while. Excuse me. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to join too, because this is fun for me. Morkin's in class right now. Hey, Morkin, say hi to your students. All right, we got 15 people. So Pear Deck is a great way to just kind of have students check in while you're explaining something. And because it's through their phone, if they're shy to answer out loud or raise their hand, it's okay. It's through the phone. And it kind of gives them a little bit of a space for them to respond, but kind of anonymously. But you can still kind of get a quick check on how they're doing. So first thing when you join is it gives you a little question like, how are you feeling today? And you're like, okay, whatever. I'm feeling fine. Or you can skip it, whatever. All right, we have 20 people in. So what you see on your Pear Deck, on your device, is my slide. So you see what I see. I'm controlling the rate of this. You can't click, 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 and then be finished. Like, the teacher is in control. So we're going to go to the next slide, and then the next slide. And then when there's a question, you will be prompted with a little green box at the bottom that will tell you to answer the question. Excuse me. So anybody who's coming in late, the code will be at the top right corner. The code will be at the top right corner for anybody who just gets disconnected and want to join back in. Just like with Kahoot or something else, like it always still shows the code. Okay. All right. So welcome. Tonight we're going to talk about digital tools for instruction. And I'm running my slides, not from Google Slides, but through Pear Deck, so that we can have a little interaction. The standard consent, I'm going to take some screenshots so that we can show off all you fabulous people on social media. If you have a problem, don't worry, just keep your camera off. I will respect your privacy. Okay, so we're using Pear Deck tonight. So again, this was the instructions that you go to joinpd.com and enter the code. And then just be ready, because there's going to be some different questions that I just want you to answer. Just warm up questions. Nothing too stressful. Nothing too stressful. All right. All right, let's have some fun with this. Okay. Let's start with a survey. The question is, which January teacher are you? Are you teacher A? Catching students using strategies you've taught them. Oh my God. Are you teacher B? Your September photo compared to your January photo. Are you teacher C? Are you just spraying the antiseptic because everybody's sick and you are trying not to get sick? Or are you teacher D, where one of your students says something that's just so funny and you know you're not supposed to laugh, but you can't help it. So on your device, if you're in the Pear Deck, you're going to put your answer. So on your device, you have a little green box at the bottom, and you're going to click answer the question. So on your Pear Deck, on your device, it's going to say answer the question, and then you choose A, B, C, or D.
Sorry, Katie, I have a question. So I have just ticked the answer. Is that enough?
Yes, because watch this. You ready?
Hello, my name is Aiden. I choose A.
You choose A. You're A. Yeah, that's a good thing. So in the Pear Deck slides, I'm going to click show responses. And now we can talk about this as a class. Wow. Okay, most people see them as teacher A. They're seeing students use their strategies. Okay, so we can kind of get like a quick assessment, a quick poll, a survey. So that was an example of a multiple choice question, right? So there's no names on this. So students are anonymous. So it doesn't say, oh, Igrim was A. And then Igrim's like, oh, I'm the only person who chose A. Oh, I feel awkward. Like that's not going to happen. Okay, and I can hide the responses and we go back to the slides. Okay, so again, I'm controlling this. So we're going to move. The teacher is going to say when we go to the next slide. So you can't just skip ahead to the next question and go done, 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 done. All right, so let's move on. Let's try another question. Let's do a free response. Beginning of the year 2024, tell us what is one goal you have? What's one goal you have? And if you're not in the Pear Deck, please, you can put it in the chat. That's no problem too. But if you're in the Pear Deck, you can go ahead and put it into the chat. What's one goal you have for 2022? It can be a professional goal. It can be a personal goal. Good goal, pass the TOEFL. And again, I can show the responses. I can show them live as students are answering. I like that number one. I like that first one. So again, there's no names on this, but I can say, okay, these were some of our goals. All right, publish an article, be rich, improve, develop my students' skills and knowledge, survive, develop professionally, apply to the exchange program, eat more vegetables. That's my goal. Keep some money for traveling, travel. Oh, okay, so we can kind of get a survey. We can kind of share out in an electronic format. Learning English, moving to a new house. Good, good, good. So all these goals. So this is what you would do in a classroom with students, and you might have them write or think, pair, share. And this is just another way for students to give you that same information. Whether or not you think this is as good as, better than, or worse than a think, pair, share, or a whole class discussion, or write it on a sticky note and put it on the board, that's your professional opinion, okay? This session is called Digital Tools. This is not digital, you have to do this all the time. It's just presenting one tool that you can use. All right, so let's hide responses and let's move on. So our objectives, we're gonna discuss some guidelines for using technology, some kind of like best practices. Your writing practice tonight is answering things in a demo of Pear Deck. And then I'm also going to have you listen to some videos that show different teaching tech tools. And then also have a chance to read those websites, read those tools, and really just give you time to explore. You can see here, I only have 11 slides total because I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to give you time to actually look at these things and play with them. This is kind of like my greatest hits list of technology for instruction. Like all the things I've used that I was like, oh, that one's fantastic. That one's fantastic. Let's try another Pear Deck question. So this one is asking for a number. Let's do another quick survey here. How many times a week do you use technology in your classroom? So this is not like sending a reminder on WhatsApp. Class starts at 6. It's not that. It's like actually in the classroom while you're teaching. How many times a week do you use it? So 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 5 times a week? I don't know. Do you have a routine? Do you do it a little bit? There's no right or wrong answers. Each lesson. 7 lessons, 7 times. So when I show the responses, we get this nice little graph here that kind of shows our spread. That kind of shows the range of the data. So, you know, if you're asking your students any kind of poll, depends on the internet connection. Truth. And some of these tools that I'm going to show you are things that can be done in class. It can be done as home assignments. It can be things that you use for prep and you download. It's not necessarily something that you use live. So I really want to show you a variety of tools. So it's not like, oh man, Katie, yeah, that sounds good, but we don't have Wi-Fi at my school, or that sounds good, but the internet's always out. Like, no problem. Like I said, I started from a place with zero technology. So like, I know it's precious. Technology is precious, but it's got a bad temper sometimes. And you could plan the best lesson. And if the machine doesn't work that day, right, your plan is gone. All right, so most people are using technology here between 1 and 6 times a week. Somebody's using it 10 times a week because they're a superstar and they're probably the one who should be doing this session tonight. All right, so that was a Pear Deck question with a number. Okay, one more question on Pear Deck. What is your biggest challenge? What is your biggest challenge personally to using technology in instruction? And for this one, on your Pear Deck screen, you have a little yellow face. Wah, wah. You have a little yellow frowny face. He's not smiling. And you're going to move that little guy to whatever answer is true for you. So what's your biggest challenge? I don't know what to use. It's not interesting to me. It's too distracting for my students. I don't have enough time to plan. We don't have enough time during class. It's an extra thing I don't have time for. Or is it the Wi-Fi? Is it your infrastructure is maybe unreliable? Or your students don't have devices that they can use? I like this kind of question because you get to do like a group vote kind of. And in Pear Deck, you can choose different icons. There's so many different little shapes you can choose for what they move. Okay, not enough time to plan, not enough time in class, Wi-Fi being a problem. Yep, I get it. So yeah, I think it's really easy for the directors and the supervisors to say, this is the 21st century, it's 2024, we need to see technology in teaching. It's very easy to say that, but if we don't know the best way to incorporate it and we don't have the time to figure it out, then it's, oh, using phones is prohibited in your school. That's what Dinara says. You know what, Dinara? That's common too. So then what do we do, right? So that's why I'm giving you a mix of some tools that can be used in class live, some that can be used for a home assignment. So you can have students work on this app or use this tool on their own time. Or some of these are just tools for your prep. It's a place for you to find resources that you can print or you can show in class. So it's the planning is using the technology, but the students are engaging with it just with pencil and paper. All right. Okay, so just some general guidelines about technology. All the technology in the world doesn't replace a good lesson, right? A good lesson does not need technology to be successful, but it's something that you can incorporate here and there until it becomes routine for you and comfortable for your students. And it's like when people make a New Year's resolution. They make a New Year's resolution for the new year and they say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to, go to the gym 3 days a week, and I'm going to, and they set a big goal for themselves, and it's not realistic. So if you're the kind of teacher who's not really using technology, or the teachers in your groups are not really using technology, then, just trying one thing at a time. Try one thing and get comfortable with it. And then, then you explore something else. So it doesn't have to be like, it's not from start to finish, every single part of the lesson is using technology. Who cares, right? That's not necessary. Teaching routines are important too. The first time that you try something new with your students, it's going to be a challenge. Where do I click? Where do I go? How do I log in? Where do I find what I'm looking for? But it just has to be practiced, right? It has to be practiced until it becomes easy to use. And also expectations, like setting time limits, or if the students are off task, if they're supposed to be using their phone for a learning app, but they're not, right? So then a classroom teacher needs to have an expectation or a consequence for that. And finally, this idea that these are tools, right? They're still in your control. You as the teacher, the teachers, we get to decide how we use it and when we use it and what we use it for. It doesn't replace us. And it's also not the objective, right? Using Pear Deck is not your learning objective. Today, students will be able to, record a video. That's not the goal. The goal is that they're going to practice their speaking in English, or they're going to ask and answer questions by interviewing a partner. They're going to research. They're going to summarize something that they read. So the objective is still about teaching the language. The technology is not the thing that we're supposed to teach. It's just the tool that helps us get to good learning outcomes. Okay. All right. So here's where we're going to have some fun. Well, I am, at least. Okay. I am going to put a link in the chat. This link is a kind of a menu. Where's the chat? Of digital tools for instruction. So I took all of these tools that are like my bread and butter for when I think about, oh, I want to put some technology. Oh, I want a resource. Oh, I want a tool. So I took all of these tools and I created like a menu of this, and I have them grouped by category. I have AI, because that's the big thing. I have assessment. I have games. I have grammar and speaking. There's not a lot there, sorry. Instructional delivery. There's Pear Deck. Listening, reading, and vocabulary. So in each heading here, like for example, listening, there's a link to a folder. So I link to the folder so it's all in one place. But each individual thing is also linked here. And what these are videos. So these are short videos, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Okay, maybe 8 minutes, where I just kind of do a demo of the tool. So I say, hey, here's this website called Lyrics Training, and this is how you use it. And these are some tips on using it. And this is what it's really good for. And these are some other things you can do with it. And kind of like show you a little, like give you a little taste of it. Like it's a menu, giving you a little taste. And then what you can do is go to that actual website and explore for yourself. So all of these things here, excuse me, there's links to individual videos doing like basic demos and walkthroughs of these tools. All of these tools I've used before in teaching. I can vouch for them. It's not like, oh, somebody told me about this and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to put it on the list. It's like stuff that I've used or have seen my colleagues use. The one that's new for me is this AI app called Twee, which was designed especially for English teachers. So ChatGPT is just like whatever, the whole internet, the whole AI consciousness. Twee is for English teachers specifically. They have a video. I didn't make my own video because their 11-minute demo video is better than anything that I could show you. It's like perfectly packaged. So what I'm going to do is give you time to just explore and play and, you know, see what you see. I created some breakout rooms that you can go into. I'm going to open them up, but you don't have to go into them if you don't want. But let's say, for example, you're looking at the assessment links there, and you're clicking on Book Creator, or you're clicking on Adobe Express, and you're looking at it, and you just want someone to talk to about it. Then you're like, oh, hey, did you see this? Oh, that's really cool. Did you use that before? Oh, I can use it like this. So as a way for you to just, you don't have to, you can just explore on your own. But if you just want to, you know, kind of talk it through with someone, like if we were in person, you would be sitting next to someone. You'd be like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look. So I made breakout rooms. If you want Twee, I have a room that's called Twee and AI. I didn't put anything else in here about ChatGPT or Bard or other ones because I learned about Twee last month and I'm like, holy cow, this tool is so rad for planning. Like the planning work, it just takes so much work off your plate for planning. So, so you're going to please use this time to check out my videos to kind of walk you through, or just go right to the website and play around. All of these are free. All of these are free. For many of them, there is a paid version. You don't need it. You can do what you need it to do with just the free version. Some of them, you have to create an account. Some of them, you know, you make a classroom and then you can add students to it so that all of their work goes in one place. So they're all a little bit different. Yeah, I'm like, I just figured like if I have like 45 minutes or an hour with you, that's not enough time for me to be like, I can show you maybe 3 things in 45 minutes. Hey, let's look at this website. Let's look at this tool. Let's look at it. Now let's discuss, how would you use it? And I'm like, that's not enough. There's so much out there that I think is really helpful for teaching. And I think it was better for me to just put everything together. And then when you're bored, when you have free time, when you're, you know, folding laundry, just, you know, put a video on, you know, and just be like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. Oh, you know, some of these might be really useful. Some of them not so much. It depends on your context. The number one thing I have to ask you to do, please, the number one thing, number one, not 2, number 1, the number one thing I need to ask you to do, please, please, please share this document with the teachers in your group. Please share it with them. Because these tools exist for everyone. And I want them to be able to see them and start, you know, exploring themselves, you know, that's the idea. We pass it along, spread the word. Okay, so I'm going to open up the breakout rooms. Feel free to join a room. Or not, you could stay here and hang out. If there's any questions you have, I'm here. Or if there's something you notice or something you want to talk about, or if there's another tool that you use all the time that's not on this list that you're like, I need to tell the people about this tool, then like, send it to me and I'll put it on the list. But for the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna zip my lips, zip, and just explore, play around, check them out, and see if there's something useful to you. And I'm gonna end the Pear Deck. Come on, Zoom. The Zoom menu bar is like blocking the buttons on my Pear Deck slides. I can't get to the one where I go to the next slide. Ah. Yeah, that was my last slide then. Yeah, that's the last slide. Okay, so we're just gonna end it.